We told you that banks were going to start linking our transaction data to our carbon footprint. Well, an Aussie bank has taken a step in that direction, and we are going to dive into what this means for all of us. Before we get started, though, I just want to warn everyone, this is definitely a difficult topic, and the reason is because Bitcoiners have been calling out that this particular behavior was going to happen. It was an inevitability. And here we are, we're about to dive into this article, okay? So here we go. A major bank in Australia has introduced a new feature that links purchases to a customer's carbon footprint and warns them when they're going over the average. Australia's Commonwealth Bank, CBA, has partnered with Kogo, a carbon management solutions company, to launch the new feature, which is part of CBA's online banking platform. The bank gives the customer the option to pay a fee to offset their carbon footprint, with the average listed as 1,280 kilograms, a long way from the sustainable figure of 200 kilograms. I wonder where they came up with those numbers. And you'll notice that they don't cite anything to actually point to something concrete. They've got this number and we're going to meet it. We don't really know why, but it sounds good and experts endorse it. So anyways, I like the option to pay a fee, right? Because right now it seems as though it's an opt-in thing. Hey, look, you could pay a fee to offset the carbon footprint. First it's voluntary, then it's mandatory. Anyways, let's continue. That's just my opinion. Anyways, here we go. 3, 2, 1. By combining our rich customer data and Kogo's industry-leading capability in measuring carbon outputs, we will be able to provide greater transparency for customers so that they can take actionable steps to reduce their environmental footprint. Oh, look at that. That's right. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that hurts a human being is their pocketbook. So all we can do is try to create this narrative that we're trying to help the environment. We're trying to figure out what the environmental footprint of each individual is because we care about the planet. Make no mistake, none of these people give a shit about the planet. Okay? They couldn't care less. If they gave such a shit about the planet, they wouldn't be printing infinite money that isn't worth anything that comes from nowhere. Anyways, let's continue on. Okay, so here, let's take a look. The bank has promised to refine the calculation down to showing how much CO2 individual purchases are responsible for. So here's like a little bit of an example. Your October footprint is equivalent to, here's the driving, right? And then they want to guilt you. So here they show you how many trees, like what's that equivalent to, right? What was that driving worth? That driving was worth cutting 8 trees down, okay? Shouldn't have driven. All right, here we go. Now we've got the category breakdown. The main spending categories that contribute to your carbon footprint. Do you see what's happening here? Your transportation, your groceries, your eating out. This to me reeks of making sure that people eat bugs and live in their cave. They don't want you going anywhere. They want you eating what they tell you to eat, okay? And not only that, but let's be honest, right? In everything that I'm reading to you, what do we understand? We understand that the wealthiest people, it's not going to be a problem for them. So it's, again, the elite are going to be allowed to go around and enjoy their lives at their leisure, using up all the resources they desire. Why? Not because they're better humans, not because they're using less energy, not because of anything virtuous. Simply because they can afford it. That's all. That's the whole fucking criteria. How much you can afford. Anyways, let's continue on here. While initially presenting as a handy way for someone to track their consumption habits and the supposed impact they have on the environment, some fear that such schemes could one day become mandatory and place limits on purchases of customers who exceed their carbon allowance. Again, the only people who will truly feel the brunt of this are the poor, okay? So the middle class will struggle to hang on, to keep what they have, and the poor will just be completely wiped out. Okay, they won't be able to do anything at all. This is psychotic. I'm sorry. I just don't understand how, you stick a human being in the government and all of a sudden they just become this mindless anti-human piece of crap. Just my opinion. Anyways, carbon units would be deducted from the personal budget with every payment of transport fuel, home heating fuels, and electricity bills. And anyone going over the limit would be forced to purchase additional units in the personal carbon market from those with excess to sell. That's right. That's right. I just said that to you. Okay? They're going to be able to go and purchase the carbon credits from a market, in a market, from people who have excess to sell. Who are going to be these sellers of the carbon credits, I wonder? Anyways, this is such a fucking scam. I can't believe that people do this to each other. Anyways, okay, here we go. The wealthy would be easily able to afford the offsets, and many of them are directly invested in the trading mechanisms that the schemes would be based on. Oh my gosh, no way. A system like this that would benefit the elite and the wealthy? We're so surprised. The proposal makes clear that the means of measuring a person's uptake of carbon units for travel would function on the basis of the tracking the user's movement history. So they're getting a lot of data out of you. Okay? This is fantastic. We're tracking what you spend your money on. We're tracking where you go, how much time you spend there, how much energy approximately was used in getting there, in staying there, in doing an activity. I don't know, but for some reason, I don't feel that any of this actually in any way, shape, or form helps the environment. But I am, with a reasoned degree of certainty, able to assume that there are going to be some people made incredibly wealthy from this, and there are going to be some very big businesses, some too big to fail businesses that are going to emerge from this behavior. Again, my opinion. All right, let's wrap it up. People may be more prepared to accept the tracking and limitations related to PCAs to achieve a safer climate as a result. That's right, guys. That's right. We all need to do less, okay? We need to be less. We need to use less energy, because what we need to do is we need to focus on this invisible boogeyman. Boogie person, of course, right? We don't want to offend anyone. Boogie thing, right? Some whatever this is, this entity, this invisible climate entity that is going around and just destroying everyone. But you know what's really interesting? What I find really interesting is that somehow climate really only affects the poor. It really only affects the poor. And not only that, but the poor are the ones that are most penalized by it, because they're the ones that can least afford these types of taxes that are going to be put on the carbon footprint. So somehow climate change knows how much money you earn and what you're able to afford, and somehow just affects the poor people. But again, this is just tinfoil hat. I'm insane, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. So who cares, right? Let's just install the app. Let's go on our merry way, and let's make sure that we pay those taxes for the invisible climate change boogeyman to disappear. Anyways, thanks for joining me on the Pleb Underground. We are going to catch you all next time.